Hi friends, it's Sarah from rufflesandrainboots.com, and today I'm making a snowball bucket. You get 2 free printables. If you'd like to make it, stick around. As always, please give this video a like so I know you're here crafting with me. It also helps me in the algorithm. Alright, so here's what we're making today. A nice snowy frosted bucket of a snowball ready sign. So I have 2 free printables below. You can get those in the description box. The printables are orientated differently. So I have a square and I have a tall rectangle. If you're using the Dollar Tree flower tin, this one would work on the right. And if you're using something a little shorter and squattier, the left sort of square orientation is better. I'm going to be using this very wide squatty bucket from Daiso, Japan. And I'm also going to try and take some work off of my plate by using some chalk paint to sort of pare down some of this smooth shine. Okay, for my snowballs, I'm using wool dryer balls, but you can use snowballs made of styrofoam and Epsom salt. You can use snowballs that are just really big pom-poms. On the very last sunny day of Seattle this year, I took it outside and coated it twice with the chalk spray paint. Now I do have drips here and I just ended up sanding those down because A, done is better than perfect, and B, my printable was going to cover it up. Alright, so speaking of the printable, we're going to need that, the Mod Podge in matte, white chalk paint, a foam brush, and a foam dauber brush or pouncer brush or whatever you would like to call that. I am going to rip. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to use a ruler here, and this is just to make sure I don't like that rip through my entire sign, because I've done it before and now I've learned. All right, so we're just gonna rip this all the way around, making sure that it's sized to our piece. So I had to actually make a little bit more rips because I have the 2 lips on the top and the bottom that I had to fit under. So just a little rippy rip here and a rippy rip there, and we're ready to go. All right, so I'm going to use matte Mod Podge. You can use whatever you have, glossy, doesn't matter. And I'm also going to grab a spray bottle. This is optional. I wanted to sort of mist my printable to make it spread a little bit over time. And so I printed mine the day before. And then I put a little Mod Podge here on the bucket just to get it sticky, and then I'm going to spritz my sign. So I have a little time, but if you just printed it, you're not going to have a lot of time. If you just printed it, don't do what I'm doing. And that means just pat it on or brayer it on. Don't pull and smear, or you're going to smear the ink. So because mine was printed and my water had not yet seeped in, I was able to handle it that way. And then once it was on, for the most part, I just took all of the edges and coated them in the Mod Podge. That's the really big part, is just trying to make sure you can get those flat. If you wanted to make this more than a quick project, you could actually sand down the edges of your paper. But nope, not me. I'm just gonna make it a quick project. So once all of the sides were done, I just Mod Podged the front of it and then hit it with my heat gun. It does get hot, so just FYI, check to see it's not gonna burn you. All right, so now I'm going to start framing with my chalk paint. Again, I'm using chalk paint in white. So if you coated your entire bucket in the same paint you're using now, you're not gonna have to do what I'm going to do, but this part, everybody does. You're going to add a little bit of paint onto your pouncer and then just hit the edges all along the bucket edge. So we're going to do this a couple of times to help blend that seam. And just add a little pounce and pounce and pounce. I'm listening to an audiobook on Audible. I don't know if you're addicted to those, but I can't craft and watch TV, but I can craft and listen to an Audible book. So if you aren't, if you're not bored, you have more fun crafting, in my opinion. So I was just listening to a fun book on Audible. All right, so once I had the outside first layer done, I took a little bit of paint and went through the middle, and that way I added a nice little frosted look. So you can see the edge of my bucket there looks more gray. It was a linen chalk paint as opposed to a bright white, and so I needed to pounce my entire bucket at least once. Now the edges I actually did 3 times. So the first one we already did. Now the second one, I hit it with the dryer, and then I'll do a third one to help blend those edges. This edge was a little bit more pronounced than the other one. I'm not sure why. Now for my snowballs and to position everything in there. Again, I'm using these wool dryer balls, which are sort of an off-white color. They're not bright white, but I needed them for something else, so I had 3 left over and I'm making this. So I brought out a lot of stuff, y'all. I brought out so much stuff to figure out how to style this little bucket. I don't know. I end up going through a couple renditions. How would you style it? Let me know down in the comments below. I ended up actually taking all of that out and using one of those car chamois. It's like bright white. Ooh, on the left, do you see that? That is a white muff available at the Dollar Tree. If you see them where the mittens and socks are, go get it. We're going to be using that later. But anyway, once you stick the little guys in, you're all done. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this easy project. Get your free printable down below. And as always, I sincerely appreciate you being here. Please like and subscribe.